Okay. Now, Michelle, I have gone right past. I am very sorry. We were supposed to be putting a quiz in here. Michelle, are you there?
I am there. We'll just roll on and we'll hit the...
Oh, right. Okay, that's fine. I'm afraid I got carried away, people, and went right through the quiz. So you've been spared a quiz at this point. Okay. Now, university lecturers will be very familiar with the process of awarding ECTS credits. And they will normally consider them in terms of a whole year that a student completes a program of study or perhaps individual modules. But we have to think that allocation of this credit in different programs, in different universities, will vary widely. And it varies because the students may need different times to prepare, but it also varies because different universities choose to deliver their programs in different ways. So, for example, one university might spend 2 or 3 modules on teaching biochemistry, and another university may only take a short time. So they vary from one place to another. However, what is fundamental is that one ECTS credit corresponds to 25 to 30 hours of work. And if we look at a university system as described by the Bologna process, then what we see is that 60 ECTS points are allocated per academic year at bachelor level, and therefore 1 year at university will be equivalent to 15 to 1800 hours of work in total. Okay. The first 2 Bologna cycles are associated with, as I've mentioned already, 180 to 240 ECTS credits, depending on whether or not it is a 3-year program, 3 times 60, or a 4-year program, in which case it's 4 times 60. And this is, yes. And the second cycle is a master's degree, which is awarded 90 to 120 ECTS credits. And the minimum is 60. Now you'll see that you have EQF mentioned here. The EQF is part of the European qualifications framework. And what Bologna introduced was that if you are studying at a first cycle, we call that level 6 European qualification framework. If you're studying at masters, it's at a higher level, level 7. So when you actually study, you obviously progress in your learning, and when you complete your bachelor, you will have completed successfully level 6. When you have completed your masters, you will have completed level 7. And it goes on up to the next level and the next level after that for doctoral studies. And of course, it requires more intense work. It requires different outcomes from your learning. Now, it is a requirement across all European HEIs to align their qualifications with the EQF. And so when you look at a university that's advertising its programs, it will talk about level 6 or level 7 or level 8 programs. And what this does is it provides a common reference framework so that we can compare national qualification systems and frameworks at different levels across Europe. If you like, ECTS tells you how much learning has gone on, and levels tell you at what intensity or what the demands were of that learning. So the systems together provide a translation device to make qualifications more readable and understandable across Europe. And they therefore promote lifelong learning, life-wide learning, and also mobility students and other European citizens, because you can take your learning, which has been very carefully defined, from one place to the other. So let's talk about the transfer of ECTS credits. If you're going to transfer or try to transfer your academic credits, then you need to know whether or not the place you're taking them will recognize those credits. So what we mean by that is that if you're awarded credits in one program, they may be transferred to another program. And that program could be within the same HEI, or it could be a similar program. Now, when you think about it, there must be hundreds of programs in Europe, and it's unlikely that the credits and learning of some modules will be absolutely identical to others in the new program, for example. So there has to be a flexible approach taken by the higher education institution for recognition of these credits. And this is called fair recognition. And it's based on learning outcomes, what you've learnt, what you know, and what you're able to do, rather than on the formal teaching that has led to that outcome. We're again focusing on the learner rather than the teacher. So because you may have done more practicals in one institution than in another, it doesn't matter. What matters is what have you learned. So fair recognition means that rather than perfect equivalence, in practice we have a flexible approach. So for example, a 4-credit component in one institution can replace a 5-credit component in another. Now, these credits actually are not just transferable within Europe between institutions, but also transferable internationally. And I wonder if any of you have actually taken your credits to another place. For example, you can take them to America, Canada, Australia, and so forth. And because they are very carefully defined, other institutions will see what you have learnt, they will know how many hours you've put into that learning, and they will also know what level you have been studying at. So this is really important to make sure that your learning is absolutely transparent